we can go into watching things.
Let's do it.
Okay, watching things with us. That's what this is called now. Watching things with the CAG guys.
Sure.
I like that. It's not good.
You don't like that? Watching with Wombat. How's that? Is that good? It's slightly alliterative.
Illiterate?
Actually, it is alliterative.
Slightly illiterate.
Slightly illiterate. What would Wombat watch? That's alliterative. I watched
this first thing.
I did. I watched until the wheels fall off.
I want to see that, but I don't have that service.
Oh, it was good. It's a little long. It's over 2 hours, which I find to be long for a documentary. For those who don't know, that is the documentary about the life and times of Tony Hawk. It is very interesting. There was a lot about him I was not aware of. I just assumed that he was always just this pro skater Tony Hawk from the age of whatever it was, like 11 to now. I didn't realize there was sort of like there was a gap in between where he was not pro skater Tony Hawk.
He was a ballerina, right?
No, he was unemployed.
Oh, I like my idea better.
He was unemployed and broke for a portion of when his first kid was born, and he just got married for the first of 4 times.
That does fit the bill of like skateboarder. If you say like, oh my God, there's a pro skateboarder and he's broke, I would say, yeah, that seems reasonable.
They decide to start skateboarding again, and then
basically
make money again.
I mean, I don't want to spoil the documentary. It was more along the lines of there was no money to be made in skateboarding, and then the X Games started, and then that sort of changed.
Then there were sponsors. All right.
Then it all came back, and then there was the Huck Jam. Remember that? Tony Hawk's Huck Jam, the touring thing where they would go to stadiums and it would be like motorcycles doing flips and skateboarders, and it would all be at the same time.
I remember when they had that at E3.
Oh, and he made some video games too.
Yeah, he made some video games.
He all by himself.
He did all alone.
Him and Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. So, he has a lot of issues, that Tony Hawk, but if you want to learn about them, I guess you can watch the documentary.
Gigantism is one of them.
Yes. Yeah. It's not all sunshine and roses.
Gorge testicles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Seems like a nice enough dude. Is he a nice enough dude in this?
He does seem like he's
an asshole? A flaming asshole? What?
I don't think he's an asshole. I think he probably
sucks?
Very much needed therapy that he didn't get until probably too late.
Oh, wow.
He's a better person now than he was. I don't think he was ever a evil person. He was just not the best person.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah. I don't know many people that are married 4 times that are like,
oh, right,
a joy to be around.
But he had a lot of options. He's got more options than most people.
Oh, that's what it's because he had options.
I mean, I feel like
I don't know.
I haven't watched the movie at all, so I don't know anything about him. I know that he drives around in his car telling people to do kickflips, and then they're like, "Oh, it's Tony Hawk." But yeah, all right, I might check that out.
You should. You might.
Is that on HBO?
That is on the HBO Max.
Ship, you don't have HBO Max? What's up with you?
There's not that much on there.
There is a lot of stuff on there. I'm always mentioning stuff on there.
I watched.
Yeah, but I don't watch that stuff.
You should though. You're getting out of it.
I watched The Freshman on HBO Max over the weekend too because it was in between things, and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch this." Remember that movie? You ever see that movie with Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando?
Yes,
from 1990.
Oh, that movie. Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's on HBO Max.
Sign up.
No. That's not the content I would have proposed to sway you.
You know what?
I feel like all the stuff that's on there, for the most part, is all movies that I can just consume elsewhere.
I don't know.
The Batman next week. What about that?
Next week is
a little movie, a little tiny movie, independent film called The Batman.
Yeah, if I want to watch that, I can check it out at the library.
Which you should, I think, because we're not doing a show next week. So the show after that, I expect both of you to have watched The Batman.
4K on HBO Max. It better be, or I'll fucking kill somebody.
The Batman.
Mr. Max. I'll be coming for you, Mr. Max.
I feel like I forgot that The Batman came out.
Yeah, it came out. It made a lot of money. So
I'm sure it did, but it feels, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's in the zeitgeist.
That's because people are waiting for it to come out on HBO Max, which you
I
don't
would say
have.
wait until next week, and then it'll all come back around
Yes,
again.
exactly. Most people are waiting to watch that at home.
I actually really like the Batman. I don't think Cheapy will, but I really want him to watch it.
I'm definitely watching it. I've already told Ty that we're watching it. I
Yeah,
said, I
you
don't
should
care
watch
how
it
much
together.
rape is in this. We're watching it. He said,
Yeah.
fine, I'll watch. No.
Yeah. Good.
I watched this.
Oh, no.
We finished watching Starship Troopers. There's no rape in that.
Nice.
Only bug rape.
No, but there's boobies.
There are boobies, and the boobies are not of great quality. I don't know if you remember. No offense to the actress whose boobies were on display, but I always felt, even when I first watched that movie, whenever it came out originally, I always felt like those are not the boobies for me. Like, I'm not going to marry a woman with boobies like that. Like, it's just not.
I mean, I know it did.
She's very attractive and everything.
Yeah.
But I just did not like her breasts. That's all I'm saying.
You're
Me
a
personally,
weird dude.
that's not my type of breast.
What was Ty's takeaway?
I did not ask him. He was like uncomfortable. Obviously, it's a little. That scene lasts a little too long.
You should go. Hey, how about them tits? Did you do that?
No, I forgot what I said. But it's an interesting. We're gonna be watching RoboCop next week when the 4K UHD comes out. So I wanted to prepare him with another Paul Verhoeven movie. And so this way he can compare and contrast the similar styles that he's used in both movies. And boobies. And the boobies. There's different boobies in both movies.
Nice.
Anyway, he didn't really enjoy Starship Troopers. He was like, it was okay, which is a good assessment of it.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know how well it honestly holds up. And
Pretty well, actually. Pretty fucking well, actually. The effects are surprisingly like not shitty. And
well, you know why that is. It's mostly puppets. It's not bad CGI from the early 90s that doesn't hold up. It's really good puppets from the early 90s.
It was expensive, right? That movie?
Yeah.
It failed? Was that a failure? A box office failure?
It was not I think it did okay. I want to say it was like, because there was no named actors in that movie.
Right.
Really? Like they saved a lot of money on talent.
And it's a weird, I don't know, the tone of it is weird if you don't know what you're getting into.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like slightly off, so you can still think this is just like a sci-fi action movie.
Yes.
And you're going through it the whole time going, this isn't very good. It's not bad.
Right.
But like if you know what it's actually going for, then it becomes more interesting. But it's a weird place for a movie to live. Like you have to know what kind of a movie it is to enjoy it correctly.
I told Ty that going into it. Exactly that. I said, look, this is going to be sort of weird. It's serious, but the tone is also like silly. And it's very
satire.
jokey for, I explained that.
It's satire, but it's
dark comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that far off of
Correct.
just a normal action movie. It's like not over the top satire.
Yeah.
Except for the boobies.
Which is why I think it works. That and the Phil Tippett puppets.
And all the close-ups. All the close-ups are in your face.
Mm-hmm.
The Verhoeven close-ups. Anyway, we're just warming up for RoboCop.
Yeah, well, I watched another movie on the Netflix. My wife and I watched a movie together. We watched The Bubble, the Judd Apatow pandemic.
That looks horrible.
Movie.
I couldn't even make it through the trailer.
It was not particularly good.
Oh, man.
It has, you know what? It's funny because the beginning of the movie, and I'm talking like the first 10, 15 minutes, maybe, I actually laughed a few times. And I was like, "Oh, this might be funny. I'm okay with this setup and this premise, and there's some good, one-liner jokes." And then all the jokes stop after that first 15 minutes. Like,
but you kept watching it. You watched the whole thing.
There's a couple of laughs here and there, and there's some weird, like razor sharp turn tonality shifts. Where it's like, oh, this movie's funny and it's sort of light and it's about the pandemic and it's about how spoiled actors are. And then it's like, oh, yeah. And now there's like, I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but now it's like, and now there's like armed military guys here. I'm like, wait, what? Now there's threats of violence for these actors. Where did this come from? Why this now?
This is one of the few movies that's got the low Rotten Tomatoes score. Official one, and the audience score is also low. It's 24% and 33%.
I mean, I'll spoil it. I don't care. No one cares. It's a Netflix movie. Like there's a point where Leslie Mann is trying to escape the hotel because that's what she wants to do, and they shoot her hand off as she's running away.
That's funny. See, I was laughing.
And it's like graphically violent, like RoboCop when RoboCop gets his hand shot off.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, and then they just and you see the
splat.
And it's kind of gross.
Right.
And it also doesn't like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be like a light comedy about being stuck in the bubble, not
no.
Actress gets her hand blown off like that. That would never happen. First of all, that would never happen. Like it doesn't jive.
Right.
Like the studio would not physically injure an actor. If anything, out of callousness, they would make sure that the actors look the same all the time. So it doesn't even make sense.
All right, enough. I need to hear about Sonic the Hedgehog too. Okay. Everybody wants to hear about that. Nobody wants to hear about that.
Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. They made another really good Sonic movie. They figured out the formula here.
What is the formula?
Rings.
I think the formula is that Sonic's a genuinely likable character. That they mix in the human characters with the Sonic stuff. Well, obviously Jim Carrey is fantastic as Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman, whatever.
Right. I love that. By the way, I love that Jim Carrey has obviously made so much money from these Sonic movies that he's not doesn't have to work anymore.
It was retired. His biggest movie ever, right? Like this is the biggest opening for any Jim Carrey movie ever.
Is that true? Is that really true? I didn't even know that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Even like now in pandemic times, that's really surprising. Wow.
He said he's done, right? He's done making movies.
Yeah.
He did, but I mean, if they want,
said he might come back.
Sonic,
for
Sonic 3. I mean,
if he needs the money, he probably doesn't.
It seems like he likes it though. Like he's
acting
right. He gets the Jim Carrey up. It's a fun character,
right?
The throwbacks to all of the video game stuff. There's a lot of like, I remember that in the video games, but it's done in a like. Obviously, it's not a 16-bit way, but like they're going through like the tombs and the mazes and stuff that you would play through in Sonic games. He's sliding down the little water jet things. He can't swim underwater. It's got
nerd
all that.
Stuff. It's got nerd stuff.
It's got plenty of the nerd stuff in there.
Is there any Michael Jackson music in it?
Well, it's stolen Michael Jackson music that's mixed in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That probably Michael Jackson stole from somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that was his thing.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a really quality like movie for what these are. His crappy friends were also not too bad. Idris Elba as Knuckles. It's really strange because all you hear is like Idris Elba, right? Like
his voice is so powerful. Like
I hear Idris. I don't
Idris.
I don't.
Idris.
I'm not on a first name basis with him. I don't.
Oh, we hang out. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He raps in his songs and he says his name.
He calls me bruv.
Or other people say his name actually.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't say his own name probably. Anyway, that's cool. I'll watch that when it comes to home.
It's amazing how like kids care about Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's cute.
Right? Like it's all the kids really like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Let's talk about still again how the redesign of that character in that movie that still boggles my mind. That first version they came out with, they're like, "You're gonna love this Sonic the Hedgehog."
Yeah,
yeah, that was a weird thing. But you got to give them credit. They said, you know what? Maybe we just don't know what we're doing.
Right, like maybe
it takes a lot of guts.
That is right, and we're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit.
We should listen to all the nerds that are going to come see our movie.
Mm-hmm.
I give them all the credit in the world. Like it takes, if you're like, hey, we really fucked up, and just do it their way.
The amazing thing is like, so they figured out the formula to make a video game movie here, right? So Nintendo has to be sitting there looking at this, going like, hey, our characters are more popular than Sonic. Like Sonic's way up there,
it's
right?
Coming.
Like,
that's coming. Super Mario movie.
Yeah, what's taking so long here?
Chris Pratt.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got to get him ready.
Is it going to be good? Is it going to be any good though?
I'm going with a big no, is my guess, but I'll wait and see. My guess is no, but I have no problem admitting if I'm wrong. Like I'll cut to 2 years from now.
Like Mario has no character traits, right? He has zero character traits.
Jumping is jumping a character trait?
Like Sonic has a whole like persona, like multiple personas. Like he's this edgy guy, he's this cute guy. Like
gotta go
he's
fast.
got a whole bunch of stuff. Like he's fast, yes. Like he's got a whole bunch of
he's
things.
childlike and
he's
yet
blue. He's fucking blue.
Yeah. He's
Mhm.
Mario.
He's got a lot.
Mario's got nothing.
He's a plumber.
He's a plumber, and he's short, and he can jump, and he knows a princess.
And his last name is the same as his first name, except the last name is pronounced Mario. So it's
Like Luigi.
Mario.
Luigi even has a personality, right? Like Luigi, he's the scared brother,
Goofy, goofball.
Yeah, kind of goofball. Like Mario is just nothing.
Right.
There's just nothing about him at all.
Well, he's a hero, I guess. He's brave because he jumps in
He
the
likes
direction of the
drugs.
princess. He jumps towards the danger, unlike Luigi. All right, what else we got here in Watch This Jerks?
Did you watch this music documentary on that?
I didn't, but my wife did, and she enjoyed it. So
Okay, I watched it with Emmeline, the Olivia Rodrigo Driving Home to You on Disney Plus. It's basically just the making of Sour, the album.
by Olivia Rodrigo, Grammy Award winner Olivia Rodrigo.
It's a good album. It's a good pop album. The documentary itself, not a whole lot going on with it, right? Like I'm sure.
Doesn't surprise me.
There's not a whole lot of that. She went through a breakup and she's a teenager, and that leads to good songs. Just not a very interesting documentary about those, but it's out there. You can watch it in 30 years, Wombat, when it's classic.
That works for me.
I'm gonna pass on that one. I'm gonna watch
Do you
Sonic.
like Olivia Rodrigo music, GP?
I know the driver's license song because they made some EDM.
I figure you had like all kinds of remixes of those songs.
That one. But there's a lot of good dance music songs. So
are you a fan of her work on High School Musical, the TV show?
I'm not familiar with her work on that or that show, really. But I've been watching some television shows, not movies. We watched on Netflix what I think it's the most popular show on Netflix or one of the most popular shows called Bad Vegan.
How is it? That's a documentary.
This is this is a limited 3 or 4 episode documentary. And it's another one in the line of swindle documentaries where a seemingly intelligent, bright women get swindled by guys to give them money. And they all use the same scam. It's all about like pretending to be like a spy or something being in a dangerous business and you're always in danger and you always have to sort of like be looking behind you. And eventually you're like, hey, I need you to wire me some money because, these guys are tracking me and you just keep doing it. And you basically like gaslight them and constantly getting money out of them. And there's like 3 different, there's the Tinder swindler. There's this one. And there's one other one that the love fraud, I think. And it's all the same scam. It's really interesting how effective that one scam is. It's just this being used over and over again. And this woman, the main woman in this one, in Bad Vegan, she owned this really famous restaurant in Manhattan called Pure Food and Wine. It was a raw food restaurant. In fact, the documentary starts out with a clip. The first thing you hear is Howard Stern talking about how he went to Pure Food and how awesome it was. It was like a celebrity hangout. And she was the owner of the restaurant. She went to Wharton Business School and yet completely like gets taken by this complete con artist. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's called Bad Vegan. It's very well done. It's the same director as Tiger King, Chris Smith. So that's a good one. I'd recommend. We haven't finished that yet. I think we have one more left on that. But it's just interesting how that scam is so effective. It's just it's like a psychological trick. Like it just works. We've been watching a show on Apple Plus or Apple TV, whatever the fuck it's called Slow Horses.
That's the Gary Oldman show, right?
Correct. I forgot to mention that we watched that last week. It's pretty well done. It does start off a little slow, as they mentioned in the title, but by episode 3, it's pretty much firing on all 4 cylinders. Gary Oldman's character is very gross. He reminds me of like a really grosser version of me. He's like burping and farting constantly, but he's like me if I also had like very bad hygiene. And also like an old spy, and I was also an old spy. But you can watch him fucking do anything, Gary Oldman. So yeah, if you want like a British spy show, it's a pretty good one so far. I would recommend that. Chip, you can watch that. You wouldn't watch that? Too intense?
What is it?
It's a spy show. It's basically it's Gary Oldman runs like the shitty house of spies. There's like MI5 in like the good building, and then there's the MI5 rejects work in this shitty building and on all the shitty assignments. And he basically runs that department, and we don't know why.
I'll watch the trailer for it and see.
Okay.
I thought this was the Western. Isn't there a Western on Apple TV or coming on Apple TV?
No, I believe you're thinking of Amazon.
One
Prime.
of them's coming. There's like a ton of commercials.
And it's with Josh Brolin?
Yes,
one?
that's the one I'm thinking about. Yeah.
Outer something. Outer
Thanks.
Venus. I don't know. It's on that's Amazon Prime. Anyway, you might like this. Gary Oldman's pretty fucking entertaining, I gotta say, even though he's super gross in this. Also, that's on Apple. We've been watching The Invisible Pilot on HBO Max. Another one for you, Ship. This is another like guy with a double life documentary. He was like an airplane pilot, a crop duster. He was a crop duster, but he was also a drug runner. And he was like basically like one of the best pilots ever, apparently. And we only watched one episode of that. I really can't say much about Invisible Pilot. We also watched one episode of Tokyo Vice, which is on HBO Max, which we talked about like 2 weeks ago. And I was worried about like the Japanese, just how they were going to fucking show the fucking book. And it is kind of weird. Like the people that are speaking English on the show, like it's very unrealistic. Like I said, the whole point is he's an American guy working in a Japanese newspaper, and they barely want to accommodate him. But his boss is speaking to him in English throughout the fucking show, which is the last person who would literally be speaking English to him there. Nobody would, but certainly not her. And there's just a lot of things that are like that, that are done kind of weird and that are really bothering Mrs. Cheevy. I don't know. We only watched one episode. The show starts off saying that it's loosely based on the book. So, and people think that the book is even loosely based on reality, which I learned from our CAG Discord. So I don't know. Maybe don't think about it too much and just watch it, but
smart.
We did finish up Peacemaker.
I did that.
You finished it up?
Uh-huh.
A long time ago, though.
Yes. Yeah,
yes. But you told me to go back and watch it, and we did go back and watch it, and we liked it. It did get better after the first few episodes. And John Cena he worked really fucking hard. You could tell, like, he put a lot into that, and he fucking carried that show like pretty fucking far, and it was hard to just not get sucked into that. So yeah, Peacemaker was good. I got to admit it. What else we got here? Is that it for the jerks?
I think we did that.
Shipwreck, aren't you watching anything? What are you doing with your life?
I can talk
two
about
things.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to talk about?
I forgot
the Tooth and Nail documentary that I watched.
What's Tooth and Nail? Is that another
Tooth
Jesus
and Nail
group?
was a very popular Christian heavy metal and punk label that was in the 90s. And this is the documentary. After I watched the Jesus music documentary last week,
you got into
I
that.
said, I want to find something that's the actual music that I actually listened to.
Yeah.
And this is it. But it's put out by Tooth and Nail, the label. so you don't get like a whole lot of real meat to it. But it was enjoyable to watch. I knew the songs.
Sounds like a
I knew
cash
the
grab.
players.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's a. I can send it to. Oh no, Wombat, you can watch it. I put it on my Plex. So you can
Excellent.
watch-
I'll make
watch
sure
that.
to check that one out.
Yeah.
See, Jews didn't have like any of those options.
No, there's no Jew rock.
You
It's not
had Modest Yahoo.
That came much
right?
too late, way late.
we had Van Halen.
No, it's not the same thing. It's not even. That's not the same thing. You know what I mean? Mattis Yahoo is. Yeah, I was thinking of him, but he came way late. Like, I mean,
He's in the
And
same. He's a little bit after the time frame of what this Tooth and Nail.
And
stuff
is he really singing about being a Jew though? I don't think he is.
Yeah.
nope. Is
yeah,
he?
he was.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah.
he?
Well,
Okay.
he was at least singing about religious themes and God.
Were you a Mattis Yahoo fan?
There was some mixture in there. Yeah.
Was that your big exposure to Judaism?
Well,
that
I
was-
was gonna
that's where I got all my-
Christians
my
read both
Jewish-
the Old and the New Testament.
Correct.
Modest Yahoo takes care of that section of the Christianity for Chip, the Old
Mhm.
Testament portion. You know, you
Yes.
don't have that many of these Christian singers are probably not singing about King David or Daniel in the lion's den.
There's some. It gets into that somewhat, but
That's not the meat.
not a whole lot. Yeah.
Fantastic then.
Mhm.